Hello. Welcome to the Snarking Dead. I'm Cassidy, and today I'm going to do a video recap of episode 1 of season 1 of Black Mirror. And just to give you a little bit of a background, Netflix is going to run season 3, which is going to consist of 6 episodes, all brand new episodes, starting October 22nd. But there have already been 7 prior episodes done, 3 for season 1, 3 for season 2, and a Christmas special that was called, I believe, White Christmas. And those were run on Channel 4 back in, I believe, 2011 and 2013. So I'm going to video recap those episodes to kind of catch you up. So rather than writing everything out, I'm just going to talk. So you're going to get to hear me talk. Isn't that a lot of fun? It's something I've done before, and I kind of liked it. So bear with me. I'll try to keep these videos short as possible. But the first episode is called The National Anthem. And this is a difficult episode to recap, simply because at the Snarking Dead, Rachel and I try to find either the humor or something that pisses us off about a show, and we snark about it. So a lot of times, it'll be an episode where someone's getting, their head bashed in or an arm cut off or something like that, and we find a way of snarking out over what's happening on the screen. This episode, well, you'll see in a minute. But anyway, the whole concept behind the national anthem is that the British Prime Minister wakes up one morning and he discovers that a member of the royal family, Princess Susanna, the Duchess of Beaufort, has been kidnapped. And this is sometime in the future, or is it in the present? We never really know with Black Mirror. But anyway, she's kidnapped, and a demand has come through. And the demand is she's going to be murdered. She's going to be killed on TV unless the Prime Minister does something very specific. And the specific thing that the Prime Minister has to do is fuck a pig on national television. Yeah, that's it. The whole concept is all about the Prime Minister being forced to fuck this pig on TV. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to snark out on an episode of television where the running issue throughout the plot line throughout the entire episode is the Prime Minister must fuck a pig. Okay. So anyway, whoever's kidnapped the princess has set up all these demands, making it almost impossible to fake the whole thing. And at first, the Prime Minister's freaking, and they're like, wait a minute, where'd this video come from? We got to get rid of it. And the guy says, one of his advisors is like, well, they posted it on YouTube. And he's like, well, pull it down. Well, we did, but it was shared like 10,000 times before. And even though they put a clamp down on the UK publicizing the news that this has actually happened, foreign news firms like Al Jazeera and Fox and CNN and all these others have already seen the video. I mean, it's been shared hundreds of thousands of times already, because here's a ransom demand of, I don't want money, I just want to see a guy fuck a pig. So he's in a really dangerous spot because, well, how do you get out of this? I mean, how do you get out of this one? So they start going through all the manifestations of trying to trace down where this princess has been taken. And the princess is very popular. She's actually known as the Facebook princess because she has a presence on Facebook. She has a presence on Instagram. She interacts with her followers and all this other stuff. And that's one of the brilliant things about this episode is how they tie in to everything in social media. The ransom demand was posted early in the morning on Facebook, on YouTube. You know, the princess herself is a Facebook junkie, more or less. They even, at a few points, you see the ministers that are around the prime minister, they're checking their phones and saying, oh, this is how it's trending on Twitter. This is how it's trending over here. We're picking up things from Instagram. You know, it's all that sort of stuff. Everybody is tied into social media the way we are tied into it today. Well, you know, at first it sounds like you don't have to fuck this pig. If you decide to let the princess die, you know, most people agree with you. Fucking a pig is pretty heinous, so we'll just forget about that. But then the guy who's issuing the ransom demands, you know, he's they can't find him. He spoofed several different locations. They can't trace back to where the original download to YouTube took place. So the government decides that they're going to use a little bit of CGI trickery, like we've seen in movies, where they're going to have an actor come in. It sounds like either a porn actor or a guy who's got a fetish about fucking animals. He's going to come in, and he's going to do the pig, and they're going to CGI the prime minister's, you know, head on this guy's body. Well, this dude is really like excited about it. You know, he's like, ooh, yeah, fucking a pig. This is going to be great. But the plot gets spoiled because, as I said, everything's tied in to social media. And one of the guards snaps a picture of this guy walking into the TV studio with his cell phone. And then I think he tweeted it. You know, he tweets it. And so the shit's all over the place. It's like, oh, look, you know, this guy's going to come in and fuck the pig in place of the prime minister. So the kidnapper, he cuts off one of the princess's fingers and sends it to a news organization. And things aren't looking good for the prime minister. Now, the thing that we're learning in the process of all of this is that the prime minister's wife, she's sort of like, I don't want you doing this shit. I do not want you fucking a pig. You know, let the princess die. Basically, she's like, I don't want to have, you know, you can't do this. This is going to be disgusting. You're going to look like a fool in front of the entire world, because we're talking about a broadcast that was going to be sent out all over the place. And the prime minister is like, okay, I'm distancing myself from the pro-pig fuckers. But things go bad. They think they found the location of where the video was uploaded to YouTube from. They send in commandos. There's also a news reporter there who's also she's tracking down shots, locations through a connection she has in one of the security ministries, because she's sending pictures of, first, you know, to get information, she sends a picture of her breast. She goes in the bathroom and she like does her top and sends a breast shot. And then to up the game a little bit more, to find out the best news, she goes in, drops trowel, and snaps a picture of her vagina. You know, it's the opposite of the dick pic. You know, the tit pic and, you know, whatever. But again, social media plays a big part in the national anthem. Also, connectivity. Everybody's connected. Everybody has laptops. Everybody has tablets. Everybody's trending things. Everybody's watching stuff. You know, everyone's tied into the internet. It's sort of like today. Well, the shit gets ugly, finally. The military busts in on this dude, but they find out he's already rigged it as a phony place. He's got a dummy in there. So they basically find a mannequin that they believe is a princess. And, oh, by the way, the reporter who was trying to get a great scoop, she gets shot. She doesn't die, but she gets shot. You know, so it doesn't go well. And there's only like about an hour before the deadline. So the prime minister gets the bad news. His advisors are saying, you know, there's a complete lack of confidence in your ability to handle this situation. Everything's trending against you. Polls are showing that people are turning on you. And he's pretty much threatened by his political advisors who are tied into the party, who are saying, you know, if you don't fuck this pig, We can't protect you. Your political career is over, and we can't even guarantee that your wife and your young child, because his wife just had a baby only months before, that they can even be protected. By protected, I don't know what their meaning is. Like, are we going to just like blow you away in the middle of the night or something like this? So the prime minister just guts it up and he's like, okay, let's go see the pig. And there's the motorcade is going through London and there's overhead shots from a helicopter. And like, yes, the prime minister is off to the television studio where the female pig waits for him and all sorts of stuff. And everyone is inside. I mean, everyone has packed in front of a computer or a cell phone or a television. They're all getting ready to watch this, and it's all going out live. So the prime minister gets to the studio, and they've got it set up where the pig has been kind of sedated, so that it's docile, as docile as it's going to be while it's eating. They've set up a couple of monitors in front of the prime minister, in front of the pig, that are playing porn. So they said, maybe this will help you come along. And also they give him a shitload of Viagra. I mean, it looks like he swallows like 2 or 3 tablets of Viagra, which was probably a mistake, because you'll find out why in a sec. But they also say, we're sending out this signal that we're saying, we're testing the bandwidth, but really they sent out this high-pitched squeal hoping to nauseate people and get them to look away from the screen. And no, it ain't happening. This is a train wreck of epic proportions. And that's what happens. The prime minister starts fucking the pig. And of course, he's loaded up on Viagra. So, there's no getting rid of that erection. But he can't finish the deal. And see, that's part of the ransom demand, is that the prime minister has to basically, he has to ejaculate inside the pig. So he's going at it. He's going at it. And it's just horrible, but nobody can look away. This is the worst train wreck in the world. This is beyond the first 3 Star Wars movies. Let's put it that way. You just can't stop watching. And it takes them about an hour to complete this task. Well, in that time, you find out that the princess is wandering the streets. She's on the Millennial Bridge, the footbridge, going over the Thames. She had been released, they discovered, 30 minutes before the broadcast began. And they later find out that the artist, whose name is actually Carlton Bloom, he was the one behind this. He kidnapped the princess. And he was trying to create a form of performance art, you could say. His motive was proving that people are completely unaware of the world around them because they're so hung up on everything that's on the screen in front of them. And his idea was, I'll just release the princess and she'll wander around out in the streets unnoticed, which she was, for 30 minutes before said pig fucking goes down. And no one's going to notice it because they're all sitting in front of their TVs waiting for this to happen, which is what happens. And of course, Carlton Bloom, he hangs himself. You also discover that he was the one that cut his finger off. He didn't cut the princess's finger off. But you see a shot of him while he's swinging from the rafters with his hand bandage. And they later find out, they say, we found male DNA in the finger. It's not the princess's finger. So, in the end credits, while they're running, you see the prime minister a year later, and you find out that his political career did not suffer from this thing. In fact, his poll numbers are up like 3 points. He's very popular throughout the world. Everybody recognizes that he was in a rough place, and he couldn't get away from it. And he's doing great. He's even out in public with the wife. Except when they get back to 10 Downing, the first thing she does is she peels off and heads upstairs, and she wants nothing to do with him. Because it's one thing if you're the Prime Minister of England and you've done great things for national health and for school children and for trade and foreign relations and all that other stuff. But, you know, fuck one pig. And it doesn't matter what you've done. You are a pig fucker for life. And she does not like the fact that she is Mrs. Pig Fucker for life. But that's the whole episode. The whole episode is this rip on really social media. It's showing that people are so tied into the reality of what we're seeing on the screen, what we're learning from the internet, what we're learning from television. We're so tied into that we're not seeing all the stuff that's around us. And that was Carlton Bloom's whole idea behind this art project. I'm going to show that people can just be led to see whatever they want to see, and they can become tied in to what's on the computer or what's on their phones, more so than what they're seeing actually going around them. Of course, he hung himself too because he knew I'm going to jail for the rest of my life over this shit. Or, MI6, as we would call it here in the U.S., or they would just make this guy disappear, and we would never see him again. So all in all, it was a strange, weird episode, but it sets the tone for the season. You really get this feeling of, what the fuckery. I mean, essentially, and the way they talk about all these things happening with following Twitter and following messages on YouTube, and some of the messages on YouTube they show, his wife, the Prime Minister's wife, was actually watching him, and some of the messages are hilarious. And if you've ever seen some of the shit that gets posted on the internet under message queues like that, you know what it's like. So all in all, it's a great beginning episode because it's so damn strange to start with, and yet there's nothing really science fiction-y about it. Not like you start to see in the next two episodes. There's nothing science fiction-y about it. It could happen today, and of course, there was right around the time that this episode aired, not long after, was when there was the accusation that Prime Minister David Cameron, when he was at one of his boarding schools, when he was at one of his schools or at college or some shit, forced a pledge or force somebody in, however they do it, basically to stick his cock inside of a dead pig's mouth. And they called it Piggate. So that sort of came up. The national anthem could happen tomorrow. And given what's happened in England of late with, Brexit, there would probably be a number of people who would love to see the Prime Minister fuck a pig. Would love to see that happen right now, or Boris Johnson at least, or that Nigel Farage. Oh, that would be pay-per-view material to watch him fuck a pig. So that is the first episode. I would suggest going out and watching it because it is one of those things. Even recapping it, there's no way I could have really given this the same sort of attention and glory that it deserves by writing about it. So there will be more video recaps to come. I'm going to try to do at least a couple of a week until we get up to showing season 3 on Netflix. Those I will write. I won't do videos for them, but right now is a rather busy time in my life, and I am finding myself pressed for time. Here it is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I figured I would have a lot more done than I have already. So take care. Watch the episode. It's on Netflix. Season 1, Season 2, and White Christmas are on Netflix. So you can watch those. If you haven't, go watch it. You'll love it. You'll be entertained. You're going to be grossed out by a guy fucking a pig. Take care. Bye.